2. Alright, so we're going to continue now. As you can see, the game has to actually install to the PlayStation 3, which was actually a little quirk about all PlayStation 3 games released several years ago. They all had to be at least partially installed or fully installed to the hard drive before you could actually play them. Largely, I believe, due to the weird cell architecture of the actual PlayStation. Not, you know, the way it's built, but actually the data. The way the data is written and transferred and retrieved on the PlayStation is not typical to that of most gaming consoles, which I have no clue why the fuck they thought, you know, that this was a good idea. But in any event, that's just typical Sony at this point. It's pretty funny because, you know, just like how Nintendo's completely abandoning motion control, Sony is apparently completely abandoning the cell architecture in favor of x86, or I believe 32-bit standard data writing, or, well, data encryption, which is what 32-bit Windows computers use. It's x86, in case you don't know. There's 32-bit and 64-bit. And I forget the reason why, if it's 32-bit, it's not called x32, but I don't remember that at all. Surgster has probably told me that 1,000 times, and I've just never bothered to listen to him. Oh, wait, I said that out loud. Oh, well. But anyway, it'll be interesting playing this game, actually, because I remember one of the ways that how originally I actually bonded, besides our massive love for games and our massive love for anime, was our massive love for anime games, which in fact are very, very rare, and when they're done, they're not exactly the best, which really is kind of a letdown, you know, because you like an anime so much and you wish that it would be made into, you know, a game, because you enjoy it, you know. But Naruto is one of those franchises, and so is Dragon Ball, that is so popular that it actually had its own spin-off of games. And in fact, Naruto has had a lot of games, believe it or not. So has Dragon Ball. So the ones that really do make games, they make a lot of them because they're so popular. But, you know, on the flip side, a lot of the ones that are, you know, kind of underground, not nearly as widely known, don't get enough recognition. Like, for example, I don't think... Well, they did make a Yu Yu Hakusho game, but they never made one doing the entire anime, which is what I was really hoping for, because I did enjoy Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho was a really funny anime, really good, had a good storyline. But the game was a Game Boy Advance game. I actually bought it back a while ago because I enjoyed it so much, even though it was, you know, kind of mediocre, or, well, subpar. But point is, I enjoyed playing along the story too. That was a good part, and it had some diverse gameplay and such, and it was an enjoyable experience. Now, I do not know anything about Bleach games that are not on the Wii. I know they've made a ton of Bleach games that are on the Wii, which I have no intention of playing because I just already know what's going to happen when I waste my money on that. It's going to be horrible. So I'm sticking away from that. I think they did make one Bleach video game for the PlayStation 3, but I have not had a chance to actually look into it. So I'll definitely check it out. I know that these games, because these anime series have been out for a while in Japan. I forget when Naruto was first started, when it debuted, but it was out in Japan before it came to the US for quite some time. So these games are actually on a lot older consoles. Of course, they're Japanese exclusive, you know, but they were still out a long time ago before they came over to the you know, the States. Where I think it's kind of unfair that a lot of anime gets, you know, kind of shut down by by either the American critics or, you know, the Americans in general. It kind of really sucks. It's the cultural difference, really, the cultural humor, that sort of thing that you kind of will not get if you don't dedicate the time to, you know, studying it and learning it. Well, it's not like it's a class, but you have to be able to tolerate it and understand, you know, where this comes from. Because in America, we have a completely different and shittier culture than the Japanese, or basically any other first world country for that matter. It's very shitty. Where everyone's constantly like firing down each other's throats about stuff, and it's very competitive between all this stuff. And unfortunately, if you don't have a very decent foothold, it kind of sucks. But fuck you. That's really the attitude of the Americans. So I have to say though, the art style for this loading screen is very good. I've played some PlayStation 3 games, where the install is just so abysmally boring. I remember I was at my friend's house. This is when I first found out about the actual PlayStation install, because on Xbox you don't have to do that. The game, you just pop the game in, the disc starts spinning, and then you're good to go. You might have an update, but then you're done, and then you get to play. Wii doesn't do any of that, of course, because Wii is a fucking 6th generation console. I don't even know why they bothered to try and make it compete with these two consoles. But on the PlayStation, you have to sit here like a fucking asshole for 15 minutes before you actually get to play the game. So it's almost like, you know, you come home from a long day, you come home with a new game in your hand, and you're just sitting here like, you know, okay, I can't wait to play this game. So you pop it in, and then you have to fucking leave for 20 minutes because it takes forever to install this game. And there's probably going, and once it's done installing, it has to like ready the data or something, and then there's probably going to be an update that requires it to do that again. So in the end, you're waiting here for like 30 minutes trying to actually play the game you sat down to play so long ago. Like, for example, I've been sitting here for 6 minutes and 10 seconds, and it's only just now past 33.3%, which means I'm going to be here for another 12 minutes, 20 seconds, or a grand total of like 20 minutes, you know, once you average everything in, before I can play this game, which is kind of really silly. I should have been doing this actually a long time ago, but I didn't. So when I play God of War, I'm going to have to step my game up because this is really bad. Unfortunately, because this console is so outdated and fucking installing like it's a PC, you know, I have to do this, unfortunately. This sucks. I might as well look up what Bleach games actually did come out, because I do want to play some Bleach games, but not on the PS3. I mean, not on the Wii. I know there was one for the PS3. Alright. There have been DS Bleach games, which I don't care about, which are basically only in Japan. There are Nintendo home consoles. No, fuck that. Heat the Soul. I remember hearing about that. It was on the PSP. Yeah, it was. But it was only in Japan. Yeah, that sucked. They made 7 of them. I remember them making 6 of them. But, oh well. I'm not playing that. What was I remember seeing one in GameStop, but I did not stop to play it, or did not stop to look at it. So yeah, Bleach has had a lot of games apparently, but they've never been localized. Oh well, I have no clue. I don't remember. It sucks. They never localize this stuff, which kind of really, it's really, really sucky. Yeah, they've only localized one Bleach game for the PS3. Bleach Soul Resurrection. That's it. Naruto has had so many more games than that. It came out in 2011, so maybe I'll check that out later. I remember seeing it. I hope it's still there, which it probably isn't. So I'll have to wait until they restock it. But yeah, that's the sad state of a lot of these anime games. They kind of fall by the wayside, you know, because the fan base here in America is not that great. And it's not just anime, it's just Japanese games in general, because, you know, that's just the way the American gaming economy pretty much works. It's really bad. It's really bad, and it's never going to get better. In fact, it will probably only get worse. Not like I have not watched Bleach since like 2009, okay? And this is 2013. I have not watched Bleach in like 4 years. Okay? My backstory with me and anime is that I've always loved anime as a kid, okay? I always loved watching anime. I thought it was very interesting. You know, American cartoons there were a couple that were good, but for the most part they weren't amazing. The story wasn't that great. It was more of an episodic one-shot kind of deal. And it was very silly. Like, there was no real serious child cartoon from back, you know, 10 years ago. And when I started watching Toonami, I'm like, boy, these animes, you know, I didn't know they were called animes until a while later. But, you know, these cartoons, they have good story. The acting's pretty good. And, you know, they were really interesting to watch. And every Saturday I would tune in, you know, where possible so I could watch this stuff because it was really great. It was good. And, you know, when Toonami kind of fell by the wayside and, you know, got canceled because Cartoon Network decided to be a bunch of fucking jackasses and start showing live action shows on Cartoon Network, you know, I kind of said, I kind of despaired a little bit. It was like 2007, 2008, and I was like, damn, you know, there goes basically my Saturday ritual that I would do every single week. That was like the best part of the week, coming home on Saturday, watching anime and playing video games, you know, that was awesome. Those were the glory years. And unfortunately, that didn't happen, and I ended up, you know, I forget what website it was, but they were streaming anime like all the time, and I ended up watching a tons upon tons of actual well, not cartoons, anime. I remember I watched all of Naruto again, because I think Toonami cut out halfway through Naruto, which sucked ass, and I watched tons of Naruto. I finished the whole season of Naruto, series of Naruto, the original. Then I went to Naruto Shippuden, went through that as far as that got. I forget where that ended up. I do not remember when that stopped. I think it was like around the Hidan and Kakuzu chapter. I stopped watching it, although I could not say for certain. And I remember I restarted watching it around the time when, I don't remember, it's been too long. And then there was also, I watched Bleach, which had like 400 or so episodes, or like 300 and some episodes, and I watched that all in a row, basically. And I would go from anime to anime. I did the same thing to Inuyasha, Megas XLR, Yu Yu Hakusho. I rewatched all those animes, and it was fucking amazing. And it was just like, you know, to sit down, you played through all these different games. It was really fun. And unfortunately, you know, that changed a while ago. Thankfully now Toonami's back, so they have some of their glory returned, but I don't think it'll ever fully replenish back to the way it was before. But at least it's good to have them back. It's good to be back, and yeah. I just realized this installation finished probably, I have no clue how long ago, but it certainly did go a lot faster than what I expected. Oops. Oh, and the music stopped.